Why do Christians push people away when there are different beliefs involved, like LGBTQ, A+, other religions, etc.? I just don't feel like many Christians accept and love others like how God wanted us to.
Okay, yeah, great question. And I think, first of all, there needs to be an admission that sometimes this really does happen for people who are Christians. That whether it's because they're uncomfortable with an alternate worldview that's out there, or they're uncomfortable with a particular lifestyle, sometimes it's easier to default to people who are like me, who think like me, who believe like me, who act like me, than it is to people who are different than me. Now, I would say this is actually the antithesis of what Jesus called us to, though. I think when Christians isolate like that, they're doing something that Jesus didn't invite us into. He invited us to engage in the world. One of the interesting things about Jesus is he was always showing up at places where he would not be expected. One of the famous ones was at Matthew's party. So Matthew was a tax collector. He invited a bunch of tax collectors who were hated in the culture, prostitutes, to come together for a party. Jesus shows up at the party, and when he gets criticized by the religious people who are like, hey, you should be pushing them away and isolating, Jesus says, it's not those who are well who need a doctor, it's those who are sick. I've come for just these kinds of people. And so Jesus engaged deeply with them. And I think if we are followers of Jesus, everybody needs to have part of their lives with followers of Jesus who are going to help them to grow in their faith and become like him. But we should also have a part of our life where we're dipping into people who believe different, behave different, act different than us, so that we can be an influence in this world and so that we can introduce Jesus into that equation. So if there are Christians who are saying, you know what, I'm pretty isolated right now, if you're kind of evaluating your life like, oh my goodness, I actually have surrounded myself with all Christians, I'd encourage you to develop at least one or two deep friendships with somebody who's in a different place, and ask God to open up doors of conversation to be able to be an influence in that moment so you can introduce light into places that most desperately need it.